How do you define God? That's a hard definition. But this is a good one. This is a good stab at it. God is the only infinite, eternal, and unchangeable spirit, the perfect being in whom all things begin, continue, and end. Well, that pairs pretty well with God is spirit, light, and love, doesn't it? So those things could fit. I'm going to give you, we're going to go right, and then we'll get an outline, attempt at an outline last. Anybody need more time on it? Tell you what I'll do. I'll leave the middle part on the screen while I talk about the Lord, the life, and the love. This is not original. Maybe I don't remember where I found this, but I like this. Jesus is the Lord, the life, and the love. To Lazarus, he was the mighty Lord, raised him from the dead. To Martha, he was the eternal life. And to Mary, he was the incarnate love. There's both depth and popular appeal, I think, in that outline. You can go pretty deep on those things, but because it's connected to biography or personality, it's easier to relate to. And plus, most people know Mary, Martha, and Lazarus. So there's already a basis of connection. The victory of love. Victory over sin. Victory through knowledge. Victory of love. Now, here's a note while you're writing that. Here's a note-taking advice. Since every one of these has victory, just write V and then write what's different. And then whenever I get off topic a little bit, go back and fill it in. So you can catch up that way, right? So that way you don't get behind. And also I've probably said this before, but if somebody's preaching and you want to write the reference, write the numbers first. Mark 16:16. Write 16:16. And then go back and write Mark. Because you'll remember Mark longer than you'll remember the numbers. So write the part that you'll forget the soonest first, and then you can go back and fill in the books. And sometimes you can even fill in the books later. Like Mark 16:16 is one that you probably could. You say, oh, I know that. That's got to be Mark. That's got to be Mark, 16:16 or 3:16. You say, well, that's probably John. All right, number 4, chapter 4, victory by faith. Victory by faith. And then chapter 5, victory over doubt. So we begin and end with victory over, but each one between has a different connector.
Over the 5-1, over sin, over
through knowledge is 2, of love is 3, by faith is 4, over doubt. So you have 2 overs. Over sin, over doubt. All right, now let me give you John's favorite sermon next. I mentioned this earlier. It's the one in the box. John's favorite sermon, God is Spirit, which is not in 1 John. It's in John 4:24. John 4:24, God is Spirit. The next 2 are in 1 John. God is light, 1 John 1:5, and God is love. 1 John 4:8. God is spirit, John 4:24. God is light, 1 John 1:5. We'll talk more about what these mean, at least the second and third one. And God is love, 1 John 4:8. Now I got a long note about God beside it, and this might be your introduction to that sermon if you wanted to preach it. It's a little long note, so you might want to use a visual for this, like I am here, like a PowerPoint or something. But here's your note. God is the only infinite, eternal, and unchangeable spirit. Now, you're probably familiar enough now with this note-taking style. As a lot of these things break away into individual sermons if you want them to. So you can preach that sentence as a sermon, because infinite, eternal, and unchangeable are 3 attributes that need discussion, or it could be discussed. So you could preach all three of those. The second part of that sentence, though, is the perfect being in whom all things begin, continue, and end. How do you define God? You know, that's a hard definition. But this is a good one. This is a good stab at it. God is the only infinite, eternal, and unchangeable spirit, the perfect being in whom all things begin, continue, and end. Well, that pairs pretty well with God is spirit, light, and love, doesn't it? So those things could fit. I'm going to give you, we're going to go right, and then we'll get an outline, attempt at an outline last. Anybody need more time on it? Tell you what I'll do. I'll leave the middle part on the screen while I talk about the Lord, the life, and the love. This is not original. Maybe I don't remember where I found this, but I like this. Jesus is the Lord, the life, and the love. To Lazarus, he was the mighty Lord, raised him from the dead. To Martha, he was the eternal life. And to Mary, he was the incarnate love. There's both depth and popular appeal, I think, in that outline. You can go pretty deep on those things, but because it's connected to biography or personality, it's easier to relate to. And plus, most people know Mary, Martha, and Lazarus. You know, so there's already a basis of connection there. All right, we're almost through the introduction. One more note. We're going to give an outline of the book about fellowship. 1:1 through 2:27. It doesn't break along chapter lines. I don't like that. My personality is it should be clean, but it's just not going to be clean. So 1:1 through 2:27 is the basis of fellowship. 2:28 through 5:3, characteristics of fellowship. 5:4 through 21, consequences of fellowship. Now, if I were preaching that, I would read those sections over and over and develop the subpoints for it. Like under 5:4 through 21, I would have an A, B, C, D, whatever meaning there were, consequences in that context.
Excuse me, sir, can you mention that first one again?
Yes. 1:1 through 2:27, basis of fellowship.
Faces.
Basis, B-A-S-I-S.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
The introduction, you have to spend the time to explain who you have a fellowship with.
Yeah, you would.
Because of the nature of how the book is written. I think that has to be part of your introduction.
And here's the answer to that question. I'll say this again. The answer is we should fellowship every person God fellowships, and not one more. We should fellowship every person God fellowships, and not one less. That's the answer to the question. But then you got to determine who's got a fellowship with. Yes, ma'am.
Characteristics, second one is characteristics of fellowship, correct?
Yes,
And the third one, consequences of fellowship.
that's correct.
Okay.
Very good. All right, that's the introduction. Anybody miss a note you want to quickly go back and review? Took a picture of? Oh, we got it. We all got it.
I'll take one more picture. Why not?
It's all on one screen there. I don't know what the resolution will be of a shot.
Well, just so everybody knows, this is recorded, and obviously we will send the link. It'll be on our YouTube page. Only those with the link and have access to it, we'll send that to everyone.
So you'll get it again if you need it. Yeah. Very good. All right, anybody need a break? We are,
I have your email.
it's what, 10:30, is that Eastern time? Yeah, 10:30.
10:30.
All right, let's take a bathroom break, all right? Then we'll come back and go to lunch. go to lunch. So we take a 10-minute break. If anybody needs to get a cup of coffee or go to the bathroom, and we'll come back and dive into chapter 1. I'll go ahead and put chapter 1 on the screen. There's actually 4 screens, though, so let me pick one. See what, this is what I'm going to start with, so I'll just put this up. This is, just FYI, we're going to look at first the highlights of the chapter, overview, and then we'll look at the commentary, and then we'll look at sermons from the text. So there's 3 different approaches to it. So this is where we'll start, the overview. So if you want to go ahead and mark those, and those colors will stay consistent throughout the book. So if you want, you can have of course you can have your own, it's your Bible, but if you want to use these colors, then I try to be consistent. And I'm even beginning to be consistent from book to book, but that's still developing. So
I can't wait for that. We'll see that.
I've got it sent in, so we'll see.